According to PodTrack, an online podcast analytics service, podcast downloads have actually steadily decreased throughout March, at the same time that coronavirus restrictions have increased. So that made us wonder whether Great Falls podcasters Becky and Ryan Acra were noticing the same trend. MTN's Lindsay Hyatt sat down with them over Zoom to talk about them podcasting during quarantine.
We're just smart folks, have a blast, the Get It Factory.
Believe in the Get It Factory podcast has been streaming since 2018, sharing stories of successful men and women from Montana and beyond.
What's the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, so we're just really, I guess, a human interest-based show. So we love to interview people who have found success in one way or another.
Although national podcasts are trending downward, Believe in the Get It Factory was just renewed for a second season.
It brings a level of legitimacy, I think, that we didn't have before. We kind of always had to prove ourselves because I think podcasts kind of sometimes come with this idea of anybody can do it, because that's kind of the beauty of it, is anybody can do it.
Anybody can start a podcast, but not just anyone can keep one going during times like these. Except Ryan and Becky Acra.
We were prepared, and now people have time. So it's actually been an uptick for us in being able to book guests and kind of get things going.
The Great Falls podcasters have long relied on the technology that's now taking over the quarantined world.
Because we've tried to get started in a small Montana town, we've had to be creative and think outside of the box the whole time.
Being in Great Falls, it's not easy necessarily to get guests. So we've been using Zoom and Skype and FaceTime since we started.
Since they've managed to keep their podcast on air, their next goal is
to use this as an opportunity
to connect with their community.
I think at the end of the day, people need people. And so that, I think, is where this podcast can be really successful in a lot of different ways, is it just does that, it hits that connection piece that people are missing right now, locked up.
The human connection that transcends time, space, and even airwaves. In Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
And you can find a link to listen to the Acres podcast, Believe in the Get It Factory, on our website. Blue